Hey, and welcome, Miss Kira Speaks. Before we get started, I ask that you stick around to the end of the video and help your girl get those numbers up. Yes, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and share with your friends because sharing is caring. Okay, don't be afraid to leave a comment in the comment section, you guys. And please turn on your notifications because between me and YouTube, you just never know. I am super excited, you guys. Blood and Water is on its way back. Season 4 premieres March 1st. So your girl is trying to get you the recap of the first 6 episodes. Wish me luck. But today we are here to do Blood and Water, Season 3, Episode 1, Reorientation. I'm going to put hold on one second. Give your girl a minute. I'm trying something different. I'm recording this on StreamYard for you guys that typically watch my Blood and Water videos. If it works out well, I'll continue to do it this way. If it doesn't, I'll go back to doing it on my phone and kind of editing it out and, fixing what I need to fix. But for right now, we are going to put this scene up, which is like our beginning scene of well, it's not the beginning scene of the episode, but it's one of the scenes in the episode. I think it's the one they use for the title card. So we are going to rock out with this one for a little while before we switch. Trying to figure out if I want to do this thing on screen or off screen, but for now, your girl's down here. So we open up and we're hearing a recording of Janet. She's at a safe house and she's going to tell this story from the beginning, or at least I'm assuming what's been told to her because she wasn't there at the very, very beginning. But we're talking about Julius Kamalo. He approaches Point of Grace and he's looking to form an adoption plan. Someone from the agency agrees with a fee in exchange for the baby, Pume, who we know is 6. But as we see Mrs. Kumalo having the baby, it looks like he's having some second thoughts. So we see him on the phone and he's trying to cancel the deal and telling them that he hasn't cashed the check. Mrs. Kumalo is unaware that any of this is going on, and it's too late. We see Lisbeth Malapo walking away with the baby. And we hear Janet tell them that that's who you need to look for, Mrs. Malapo. Like, she's behind the whole thing. And I said to myself, even though I've seen the season already, I sure hope that Janet is safe because we all know that Lisbeth does not play. And I will say, as I've just mentioned, I did see the whole season a while ago when it first came out. I'm rewatching it so I could do the notes and give you guys my recap. But this season does get a little dark, you guys. Just fair warning. So KB is at home. He is hella aggravated with his dad, and he's asking him if he's heard from his mom. She has been avoiding him, but we find out she's also been avoiding Mr. Malapo, or at least that is his version of the story. And KB cannot help but feel like this happened, his mom avoiding him, that is, along the same time frame as when Mrs. or Madam Nabisa, as he calls her, disappearance. Give your girl one good second. Hi, I'm back, you guys. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, your girl is of a certain age, so I be trying to mom sometime in the middle of doing the whole YouTube thing. So Mr. M wants to know exactly what is it that KB is implying. And he flat out asked him, do you know anything about Madame Nabisa's disappearance? And he assures him that if he knew, that he would say something to him and he would most certainly tell the police. But again, we all know how Mr. Malapo gives it up. Janet is over at the safe house a little later and she is worried and wants them to look into who we just talked about, Mr. Malapo, but they don't have much evidence to charge him with because him and his dear old wife have done a pretty good job of keeping themselves clean. Yes, air quotes, clean. So we get to what we see right here in the scene. which is Fix and her dad going to visit Pulang and her family for her birthday because the mom has been celebrating ever since she's been missing, cake and whole nine, dragging the poor family through it. So we have yet another year, but it's hella awkward. They're walking her around and she finds out that the family is Zulu. So when they sit down, Six wants to talk about her dad, but Tandika doesn't want to talk about it. But before we get to that, they're going to throw Sia out because Sia does not know that Julius is not Fix's dad. But Fix, she doesn't care at all. She wants to know who her dad is and if he even knows about her. And that, guys, is honestly what we are going to spend the whole season seeing. Fix trying to find her dad. So she's feeling frustrated and she wants to go home. And I mean, not the home of her birth mother, but the home that she knows. So they leave, and her dad is trying to reassure her and calm her down and soothe her in the car ride. And he encourages her to be patient. She gets a call, but the person does not say anything. And both of them, they think it's her mom. But we all know what happened to her mom at the end of season 2. So later, we see them report the call to the police, and they say that they'll trace the call, but it could be anyone. It's been 3 weeks, and they assure Fix and her dad. I can't think of Fix's dad's name. You guys can get that in the comments and remind me if you remember. Um, that they'll find her. And Fix wants her found and arrested. Child. Fix is so upset with her mom, which is understandable because her whole world was turned upside down. And we've seen her in season 1, well, maybe not 1, but definitely 2, struggle with her identity, not knowing who she is, not knowing if she fits in. Just all of the different things that kids that age would go through in such a huge secret. Actually going to take that off the screen, and we're just going to leave this lovely picture here as I go through the rest of the notes for the episode with you guys. So Pulang and Wade are still going strong, and she's confiding with him while he is camping. And I said, child, please be kind to Wade this season, which I can't really remember. That's the only benefit of having watched it, so long ago that I don't remember exactly what happened. So you guys are, genuinely getting my first reaction. He's basically telling her to give fixed time, which is exactly the advice that she needs to take. So we see Lunga, who is her uncle, and he's going to be visiting and staying with them until he gets his residency. Later on, we go see Pulang, like I said, meet up with Fix, who wants her to help her find her dad. And we know that Pulang is going to do just that because Pulang will snoop and get to the bottom of it all. And with these two together, baby, is going to be a problem playing Inspector Gadget. So we go over and we see our guy Chris, and he has cooked, well, kind of. He's got some food for Wendy, and she breaks it to him that she was offered a Rotary exchange from Future Leaders Program, but the catch is it's in Spain and it's for 6 months. So Chris looks hurt, but Wendy reminds him, like, listen, we weren't supposed to be a thing. He says that he's proud of her. And guys, I really, really, really have warmed up to Wendy. Like, the way that I feel about Wendy has come a long way because, as he says later and gets caught saying it, Wendy was giving us Ice Princess, but she is that beautiful, educated, strong, slightly insecure girl that we all know and love. Reese's mom is still in the facility, and Reese is still having a hard time paying. But this time, she has a real job at a pub, which her OG job is going to come up later in the episode and later in the season. So later on, when she's at work, her and Chris are talking on the phone. She's talking her troubles. He's talking his troubles. And he tells her that his appeal was denied. We'll see what that means. And then he gets caught calling Wendy Ice Princess and trying to deny that the two of them are together. She walks in and storms right on out. So Fix and Pulang are at the beginning of their mission to find Fix's dad. So they go on over to wherever Mr. Kumalo is staying, and they confront him about finding the checkbook because you remember the kids were on a major hunt in season 2 to find out all the details. So he says that he didn't take any money and that in his heart, she is his child, but he made a mistake. So he's feeling really, really bad. He kind of wants to send them away. He doesn't want to talk about it. But as they're, gathering their things to leave, he says that her father, Fix's father, that is, was Tandika's client, but that's all he knows. Fix thanked him, and I said, oh, baby, things are about to heat up. So we see the police or the detectives or, whatever you want to call them, and they're searching the Malapo residence thanks to Elizabeth's letter. If you guys did remember, KB turned in a letter that his mom wrote to him that he found during their, Dora the Explorer investigation in season 2. So KB and Pulang, they meet up, and I really did like KB and Pulang together. I cannot lie. I mean, the guy that plays KB, he is pretty good looking, and I need one of those in my mom. So he tells her that his mom could be responsible for Nabisa's disappearance, and there's a witness willing to testify. He feels like crap, but honestly, it's really not his fault. And Lang, these are my words. He doesn't say it's not his fault. I am saying he feels really, really badly, even though it's not his fault. And Puang, you already know what it's hitting for with her. And she's just kind of feeling, all over the place with everything that's going on, especially with Zama not being so close. And I hate that we are not going to get to see Miss Zama this season. Now we're gonna get Zama on the phone, but Zama gives me life, y'all. Zama be coming with the zingers and the jokes. So here we are, y'all. At home, Fix is searching for clues and she gets another call. The person does not answer. We get this breathing, not saying anything. And she's crying, Mom. And I said, well, that doesn't sound like a person who wants her mom in jail. But we all know that it's Sam. Well, we see that it's Sam. And he hangs up. And I feel really, really badly for her because even though she does want her brought to justice for what she did, that's the only mom that she's ever known. So it's really a hard place for her to be in. And then we hear Happy New Year. Huang is sharing a kiss with Wade. We see Fix spending time with her dad. And we see Sia get into Parkhurst. And then we are back at school. Sia is trying to make friends, and Chris Chow is back in the 11th grade, and the photos are making their way around the school. Now, that was his punishment for everything that happened last year with the fund being misappropriated. And Miss Reese, hers is doing community service. And the principal, I can't remember the principal's name. Remind me the principal's name in the comments, you guys. She doesn't want her to say anything about the crooked professor that ran off and stole all the money. So then we get a scene, baby, a scene of scenes, child. Elizabeth shows up at the police station solo dolo. Like I heard you was looking for me, and I said, yikes. Now she maintains that despite the letter, that people were lobbying against them to ruin their deal. And she left to protect her family. Say what? Lisbeth. But she had these folks in a chokehold. I'm not even going to hold you. She had the gift of gab. I mean, she was in there holding her head. She was definitely sitting in there for a while. So they're asking her, why come back now? And she says, to clear my name for my son's sake, I guess. She says that she has nothing to hide. This is, they're showing her the letter. Um, rewind that back. She says that she has nothing to hide because I think at this point we had already gone over the letter. They are showing her the sketch. It's a picture of her, how she looked back in the day, and the sketch that the sketch artist drew. And she's like, could be anybody. Why don't you get the sketch? The I can't remember. She said it was a sketch artist. She said to get in there, but the witness had disappeared. Well, not disappeared. The witness is no longer with us. We saw what happened to the witness was unalived in season two. So Chris, he's going around trying to find Wendy. He finds Wendy at school. He's apologizing. Um, and then he goes from that. The next scene we see him over at the pool fighting with somebody who was bullying Sia. I said I cannot stand that guy. I think I couldn't stand him in season one, and I cannot think of what his name is. Because the kid that ended up throwing Sia in the pool, because Sia was like, I'm not trying to give you my drink. Like, I said, I don't know why the 12th graders can be so brutal to the freshmen. I didn't like that. And the boy had it coming to get, what Chris gave him. But Chris is honestly mad about repeating the 11th grade and the Wendy situation. So Chris was already on ready. Okay. You did not have to give him another reason to step in and defend Sia. So not Sia, KB ended up driving Sia home. So we see Pulang and KB outside talking. Moms is peeking through the window and she's thanking him for sticking up for Sia. And he's like, he doesn't want it to be over. And she reminds him, like, listen, I'm with Wade. Now, we don't see if they kiss or not because she goes on in the house. But when she gets inside, mom is questioning her, with the whole KB Wade triangle situation. And Pulang hits her with the, like, you're one to talk. I said, child, okay. But she says it's none of her business. Now I said, kids these days, I have in my notes, they be right, but their mouths be a little bit rude. Like I said, when you get this recap, you get this recap from a mama of three. So my perspective is not gonna be like if you're in the younger set and you're looking for a young, fresh opinion, yikes. Okay. So Tandika finally tells the story of how she met um the story, not how she met, the story of how Julius left not too long after the two were married. 2 weeks later, she's moving in with her friend. I said, yikes. So she says she was humiliated and she partied a lot. And then one night, she went to a client's farewell. Excuse me, y'all. One night, she went to a client's farewell party at an art studio. And Anthony Gobisa. And as soon as she said that, I was like, girl, now you know what's on. You done gave old Dora, old Inspector Gadget over here a lot of information. So she said he gave her the attention that she was looking for. A few days later, he was in LA. Julius was home, and things were good until she turned up pregnant. Um, So Pulang is asking her, like, so why not tell, Fakili? That's because Pulang was sitting there looking hella irritated that mom was telling her all the personal business. She's like, listen, you wanted to know, so here we are. And she said she didn't want Fix to feel like, Fakile, she calls her, which I guess her name, um, that she's a mistake. And she says, I know you. Don't you go looking for that man. I said, Mama, you shouldn't have gave her the name. You gave her the name. You already know what she's gonna do. And like I said, that's what they're gonna spend most of the season doing. It's gonna get very dangerous. It's going to heat up. It's gonna get very, very dark this season. And I'm super duper excited for season 4. Mom also tells her if you want to be with Wade, be with Wade. Do not string KB along and make the same mistake that she made. Wise advice from someone who's been through it. Because kids, a lot of time, and people in general, they always look at it like, you're one to talk, you're divorced, or you're single. Like, take it from the person that made the mistake to tell you. You're smart when you learn from your own mistakes, and wise when you learn from the mistakes of others. So when others tell you, sometimes you got to take the game that they're giving you. Like I said, at school, Pulang automatically already has, pardon me, at school playing has already found the man online and ran it back to Fix. He's been in Cape Town for 5 years and he does showcases every Thursday of the month as part of a community outreach. And of course, you know what these two are about to do. So we Lisbeth, she's still over there with the detectives and asks, like, what are we still doing here? The evidence is circumstantial at best. So the detective tells her that they have a witness that's willing to testify. I challenge you to find any transaction to Point of Grace or any account that is linked to me in exchange for a baby. Because look, this one thing she has is her tracks covered. The only person that anything to gain from the kidnapping that baby is Nabisa Bele. And again, we all know how that went. So they're in the middle of the interview when somebody comes in and pills. I can't remember either one of the detectives' names, and I have to find out because I remember. I won't spoil it for you guys if you haven't seen it, but I have to remember the detectives' names. So they tell him, the male detective, that they haven't had eyes on Janet in a minute, and they are not the ones that moved her. So, and there's like there's something that you need to see about Nabisa. Um, we flash over and we see someone with Janet and Sam. And Sam asks to go to the bathroom. I said, come on, Sam, you better come through for your mama because mom's got, the brand new baby. So then we cut over and we see everyone is going with Fix to show her some support. We got Lang, we got Wade, we got KB, we got Chris, and she's nervous. Um, starts to guess. She starts to second guess. Child, let me get my words together. That it's him. So KB kind of suggests, like, let's give her some space, let her fly solo, and basically, we'll reconvene afterwards and figure the whole thing out. So everybody, you know, ventures off. We see Wendy talking to her mom because she's like sadly trying to pack, but she's not doing such a good job. So her and her mom are talking about regrets, and her mom regrets, not being able to spend time with her loved ones. And of course, because her mom is like the prime minister or something. And no sooner than she says that, she gets a phone call and she, starts talking about um I can't remember what exact wording are, but it kind of spoke to Wendy's heart when she started talking about missing time with loved ones. So Lang decides that this is going to be the time for her to reveal that she and KB kissed back at the matric ball. But she's trying to reassure Wade because he's asking, like, do you like him? Do you want to be with him? She's like, no, I want to be with you. But Wade just needs a minute. I said, poor Wade. And Wade just, goes on off about his business. So I think it was at this point that the guy that Reese was working with has come to collect on his debts. And I said, yikes. She asked him to give her a minute so we know before the end of the season that this has to come to some type of resolve. So Chris and KB are sulking at the pub where where Reese works, and Lunga, he's looking for a job. KB says, me and my dad are at odds, and Chris invites him to stay with him because, he's like, I could use the company. So a few minutes later, or a little bit later, Wendy shows up and tells him that she likes him and she apologizes, and they are going to try and give it a shot long distance. Ooh, baby, we're going to see how that works this season. So back over at the art show, Anthony and Fix are talking. You're talking about the art, and they're making introductions. I don't know that she said her name, but she's telling him she was a high school student. And before she can get to tell him who she really is, Riley is on the microphone talking. Riley, do you guys remember Riley? Riley, you ask. Riley, as in the professor that Fix slept with in season 1's wife. I said, oh, baby, Blood and Water is going to give you that drama for your mama, okay? She is sponsoring and partnering with Anthony. So Fix, of course, slips right on out because If the two of these gets, yeah, it was not going to be a good situation. We see the detective over um telling Mr. Bailey. I'm trying to think if Fix was home at this point. I think he was, that Nabisa had, they believe, staged her own kidnapping. Um, it's a lot to process, it's a lot to digest. We're going to get to it in the season. Like I said, I think that they're going to find out what actually happened to her in the end. I watched it, but I'm watching it fresh with you guys again. So KB is packing his ditty bag. His dad is pissed off, but he is on his way out the door, baby. He's going to stay with Chris. He cannot be bothered. But when he goes to open the door, baby, what did he find? His mom. His mom. Elizabeth was on the other side of the door. I said, ooh, child. Like I said, blood and water's gonna give it to you, baby. And we also see, I can't remember if that was the exact last moment, but we also see somebody snatch Fix up. Excellent, excellent season opener, you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna try my very, very best to get all 6 episodes up before March 1st, before season 4 drops. And then probably how I will handle season 4 will be to give you guys, you know, they're going to drop them all at one time. We don't know how many episodes they're going to be. It's usually either 6 or 7. I can't anticipate that it will be more than 8, but I will give them to you 1 week at a time so I can keep up with the other things I have going on YouTube. I actually promised this to you guys way back when it first came out, and I was going to give it to you weekly, but life was life. But I'm going to try hitting buttons. So much fun when it comes to YouTube. I'm going to try my best to get all 6 up to you by 6 might be on the first, because I gotta do 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have 4 to give it to you guys in a short time span. Because when I found out, I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this season up before the new season comes up. We won't start with season 4 on March 1st. I'm gonna just tell you guys that already. But like I said, once the season gets started, I will give you guys 1 episode at a time till we get to the end. If you guys would please leave a comment down in the comment section and let me know you stopped by. Let me know what you thought of the episode, how you guys like the series. Are you super duper excited that we are getting season 4 right around the corner like I am? Also, your girl is on her road to 1,000. I have been on YouTube for quite some time now, so I have made it one of my goals to try to reach 1,000 by the end of 2024. So my goal for February, good old Black History Month, is to get to 3,000, maybe not 3,000, 300 by the end of the month. So please help me get there. Like I said, by sharing the video with your friends, telling your people to subscribe. I know a lot of you come through. I don't know if you're coming through to get the play-by-play, so you don't have to watch the episode, but these videos do tend to get more traction because season 2, y'all are still watching it. And I really love this show. So here we are. I thank you guys for coming through and showing your girl some support. Lord knows I need it. I appreciate you guys all immensely, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.